Hey guys, here in a nutshell with me, Ina. Kayo ba ay merong profile sa Express Entry tapos isa o bahagi ng inyong work experience ay meron kayong remote work? Yan, okay. Well, in this episode, you will learn how to, anong pwede nyong asahan? Balita namin, yung IRCC, medyo they are scrutinizing more itong mga remote work claims sa mga applications or EOIs dyan o profiles under Express Entry. Anong epekto nito? Has it led to actual refusals? Pinagpapaliwanag, how do you justify remote work? Yan ang ating pag-uusapan in this episode with immigration lawyer, Attorney Lou Dangzalan, who is currently, ito talaga, alam niyo naman, no? Kung saan natin to na-interview. Ngayon naman siya ay nasa LA. Oh my gosh. Layover sa LA, pampalipas oras.
Diba? I hopped
Oo.
on a train at LAX with my dream in the card again.
Oo.
Diba? Ganun, diba?
Papunta po siya ng Mexico. O, di ba? Nakakaloka talaga tong si Attorney Lou. Ewan ko kung paano ka pa nakakatulog, no? With the changing time zone always.
Later na yung tulog. Hindi, may conference kasi kami sa Mexico. Bihirang-bihira itong mangyari ngayon, Ina. Yung Canadian Embassy, they open their doors to practicing lawyers and magsa-site visit sa Visa Application Center kasi tutour kami ng program manager kasi explain how they run yung mga TR programs pati yung mga PR checks sa site.
Wow!
So, very interesting.
Wow! I didn't know. Yun pala gagawin mo dun. Okay. Well, anyway, puntahan na natin ang ating topic. IRCC, scrutinizing remote work experience. Hindi naman po natin sinasabi, huwag kayong matakot, na bawal mag-claim ng remote work. Okay? What we will discuss rather, is how it could, complicate your application process for Express Entry to be specific. O sige, Attorney Lou, ano ba muna? Bigyan mo kami ng konteksto. Ano ba ang nangyayari? Ba't mo nasasabi na parang mas kinuscrutinize ngayon ang remote work experience na kiniklaim ng mga applicants?
So, una, i-preface natin lahat. So, lahat ng application for the purposes of immigration, meron tayong tinatawag na yung burden of proof nasa sa inyo. Pero rebuttable yung presumption na yan. Yung burden of proof, kailangan patunayan mo na yung kiniklaim mo, meron kang ebidensya. In other words, kung kiniklaim mo na nagtrabaho kang manager sa Meralco for 3 years, kailangan kaya mo patunayan yan with the proper evidence such as employment letter, pati yung proof of payment if kailanganin ipakita. So, doon tayo magsimula. So, napansin ko na nagkakaroon ng scrutiny for remote work claimed as foreign work experience among Filipino applicants dahil nakikita natin na nag-grow kasi talaga tong sector ng economy ng Pilipinas na madami nagtatrabaho as virtual assistants. So in other words, yung mga individuals in the Philippines tatanggap sila ng kontrata na nagtatrabaho sila as administrative assistant. Halimbawa, for a big office in the US, for example. Kasi halimbawa, sa US kasi babayaran yung empleyado nila na $6,000 US per month. Pero sa Pilipinas, they can get away with $1,000 to $2,000 per month. So, malaking ginawa yun for the employer in the US. So, in other words, it's a retail outsourcing. So, nangyayari talaga ito. Ang question dito, ano ba kasi yung structure nung business or nung pagka-empleyado or pagiging contractor nung nagke-claim ng experience. Kasi kadalasan sa ganyang sitwasyon, self-employed yan. Dahil hindi naman sila direktang ini-empleyado ng isang company in the US, for example, or ng Canada, halimbawa, tapos nasa Pilipinas sila. So, hindi sila na-deduct for SSS, pag-ibig. Binabayaran lang sila ng monthly. Tapos, ang nangyayari niyan, dapat nagsa-self-report itong kandidato nga. So, halimbawa, nakakatanggap ako ng 50,000 to 100,000 depending on performance. Sabihin na natin 100,000. Siyempre yung mga kaltas, dapat ako yung nagsa-self-report sa BIR. So annually, magpa-file ako. Tapos pwede rin akong mag-contribute sa SSS. Sa yung discretion ko yun, under the law in the Philippines kasi talaga, yung income mo talaga, dapat nire-report mo for tax purposes din naman talaga. So pwede mo rin
Okay.
siyang i-structure as a corporate income or pwede mo rin siyang i-structure as a, a business, registered business under DTI. Depende sa'yo yan. Pero at the
Okay.
end of the day, kailangan may mga document ka. So ang reason, sorry, yung tanong mo kanina, bakit nasabi kong may scrutiny? Naalala mo yung episode natin about yung na-scam supposedly na supposedly nag-work sa Concentrix ba yun? Yung parang
Code
outsourcing.
something, oo. Some
Something,
remote
something.
company daw. Okay.
Remote. Yun. So, yun yung nag-trigger. Tapos napansin ko, yung mga applicants nga na lumalapit sa akin ngayon, nasa-scrutinize sila whether through procedural fairness letter or outright refusal for claimed work experience from abroad na virtual assistant yung setup. So, in other words, ina-attack ng IRCC yung legitimacy ng business na yun.
I see.
Yung iba may misrepresentation findings or may threats of that. Yung iba naman naghahanap ng ibang paraan para ma-refuse. But in other words, na-scrutinize siya ng mas malala kaysa dati.
Okay. Pero paano to, no, Lou? Because the reality is, okay, yung mga, for example, nagre-remote work, lalo na, naku, usong-uso sa Pilipinas, yung mga VA. I won't be surprised if many of them, di ba, freelancers, baka hindi nila fina-file yung tax nila dyan, many times. Paano yun? How can they still prove it? The legitimacy of their remote work? What other documents can they present to justify, to say na totoo itong work experience ko na ito? That's one question. And second, kapag remote work ba, how do you think does the IRCC appreciate that type of work? Is it a real work experience that you can claim to support your application?
So, simulan natin dun sa second, yun yung pinakamadali eh. So, yung second, real work ba siya? Yes, totoong work naman yan. So long as you have the evidence to support na trinabaho mo yun at nabayaran ka for that. So, that's easily said. Dun sa pangalawa, depende kasi paano mo ipoprove. Ang question dito, kasi kailangan natin tignan from two perspectives. Yung work experience mo kasi sa past, kailangan mo ba i-claim for the purposes of points under express entry? Or kailangan mo lang bang i-disclose sa express entry under personal history? So, work,
Okay.
personal history. Work history, personal history. So, yung work history mo, yun yung magbibigay sa'yo ng points. Yung personal history mo, ito yung pang background check sa'yo. So, yung virtual assistant work mo, at all times, if it falls within the last 10 years, you must disclose this. Okay? Do you need a letter for that if it's only for personal history? No. If it's for work history, tandaan natin na ang experience points for foreign skilled work, kailangan full paid ka for a minimum of 1 year, pero nagka-cap siya sa 3 years. So in other words, kung 5 years of experience mo abroad, di nakakount yung extra 2. 3 lang ang kailangan mo. So bigyan natin yung example. Halimbawa, si Ina, nagtrabaho in the last 10 years as CNN for 7 years. Pero in the last 3 immediate years, nagtrabaho siya as an independent contractor na freelancer. Tapos tumatanggap ka ng virtual assistant job. Diba? So, kailangan bang i-claim mo yung 3 years na freelancer ka? Or pwede ka na bang kumuha na lang ng letter from CNN na nagsasabi na nagtrabaho ka ng full-time, na-meet mo yung federal skilled worker category requirements? If I were your lawyer in that situation, sasabihin ko, hayaan na natin tong virtual assistant mo. Name na lang natin yung CNN for the purposes of work history. Disclose na lang natin siya sa personal history. So that's one strategy. Para hindi ka talaga ma-flag. Kasi hindi ka hahanapan ng sulat dyan, hindi ka hahanapan ng katunayan kung kulang ka sa mga documents. Ngayon, sa kabilang banda, kung kailangan mo talagang i-claim yung points for the virtual assistant work, medyo problematic, di ba, kung hindi kompleto yung mga documents mo. So, in other words, kailangan maglikom ka ng ebidensya na nabayaran ka, kumuha ka ng mga letters from your clients, testy letters of reference na, oh yes, si Ina, nagtrabaho yan sa akin, nakatrabaho yan in this particular project, ito yung mga ginawa namin. Pero yung role niya, ganito, ganyan, ganyan. Kung meron kang constellation of evidence, yung tawag namin doon, pwede kasi ilaban yun. It's not the best, pero yun yung talagang kung kailangan mo talagang i-claim ito. Kahit na hindi ka pa nagbayad ng tax sa Pilipinas. Kasi yung iba mag-aalangan, di ba? Paano yun? Hindi ko din-disclose yan. Hindi ako na-deduct, di ba? Technically, hindi naman ako abogado sa Pilipinas, so tanongin natin yung mga abogado sa Pinas, bawal ba yun? Kasi kapag self-employed ka, dapat nagde-declare ka sa PIR, di ba? Pero yun nga, that is between you and the government. Sa Canada naman, ang pakilang nila is trinabaho mo ba, binayaran ka ba for that? Yun lang yung baseline nila, basehan nila.
All right. Does the IRCC go as far as checking also yung employer mo? For example, kasi mga VA, minsan madalas yung mga kliyente nila, yung mga boss nila, freelancers din. Baka hindi hindi registered ng mabuti yung kumpanya, yung mga ganun ba? Lalo na sa larangan ng creatives, you all know, ganyan ng system ng mga freelancer. Or minsan yung mga napag-usapan natin kanina, yung mismo mga VA, nagpapasubcon sa ibang VA, yung mga ganun ba? Do you think mas complicated yun? Pati yun ba titignan nila? Will they go straight to the client to verify things?
It needs to be explained to IRCC kung ano yung situation doon. Hindi siya bawal for claiming work experience so long as talagang totoong trinabaho mo yung posisyon na kine-claim mo yung puntos para. So, halimbawa, sinabi mong administrative assistant ka nga for that particular company, tapos it turns out yung company pala, VA din pala, sinasubcon lang sa'yo, okay lang yun. Basta yung subcontractor, rather yung main contractor, pwede magsulat ng reference letter to support yung kine-claim mo nga na work experience.
Yan, okay. Nako, no? Kasi nga, guys, yung isa naming pinag-usapan na one of our recent episodes, I think shady yung yung mismong company, diba?
Yes.
Siguro the reason why IRCC is giving this remote work experience more attention, kasi madaling gumawa. Nang parang, freelancer yung boss mo, yung ganun ba? Madaling ma-make yung job offer, for example.
So, yun nga, it's a program integrity check. So, nag-double down yung IRCC for verifying the information that you're including. And ripe for business legitimacy check itong mga remote work jobs, unfortunately, because yun nga, alam natin na madaming butas dyan eh. Alam naman natin yung reality ng mga virtual assistants sa Philippines. Racket economy yan, di ba? Racket mentality na, yes, nagpa-file ka ng taxes, pero baka hindi mo naman talaga pinafile yung tama, di ba? And again, no judgment there. Alam naman natin yung kalakaran sa ganyan sa Pilipinas. Pero yun nga, for the purposes of IRCC, maghanap sila ng documentation. So, yung sinite ko na example kanina, yung si Ina nga, nung nagtrabaho in the last 10 years sa CNN for 7 years, tapos yung 3 years niya VA, kailangan ba i-claim yung buong 10 years na yun, meaning 7 plus 3? No, okay na yung CNN, sapat na yun. Pero yung VA, kailangan i-declare pa rin sa personal history.
Yan, Siyempre, ang worry ng ilan sa totoo naman but they're worried. Baka bigla silang ma-declare na misrepresentation, right? Ang saklap naman nun. So guys, prepare your documents.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, one thing dun sa case na pinag-usapan natin, diba, dun sa isang video, is yung trigger doon, tingin ko talaga, is yung similarity ng letters, similarity ng name ng company, similarity ng circumstances. Kasi nga isa lang yung ahente supposedly na nag-ayos, di ba? So, dinoktor, di natin alam kung ano yung situation. Pero yung pagkabasa nga natin sa Facebook, yung mga reports nga doon, dinoktor nga daw na siya na daw ang bahala na gumawa nito. So, hindi nga nila alam, hindi nila naaninagan yung sinubmit sa IRCC. Red flag yun, guys. Huwag kayong papayag na gano'n ang sitwasyon niya.
Correct. Nako. Sige, good luck sa inyo. Kung meron kayo dyang baka makakuha kayo ng PFL for you to explain your remote work, at least ma-idea na kayo kung ano ang pwede ninyong gawin. Okay. Thank you so much. Maikli lang tong episode natin. Lou, thank you so much again, Mag-ingat ka dyan. Hintay mo na yung flight,
Matagal pa naman.
Maraming salamat. We will end this episode here. Siguro kung meron tayong viewers na may iba pang concerns related to yung dineclare nilang remote work dun sa kanilang mga profile, put them down in the section, maybe we can or dito sasagutin kayo sa comment section. Okay? Thank you so much. See you guys in the next one. Bye!